Kiara Dukas.
Good greetings, Etan Dukas. How are you doing over there today?
Feeling glorious. How are
Ah,
you?
yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thanks. You look snug as a bug there again.
Getting warmer, but
Okay,
we'll get it. Yeah.
cool. Absolutely awesome. Well, good day, everybody. How are you all doing there today? Blessings and love and light to you all. Thank you for joining us on our SynerChi Organics um, beautiful and wonderful shows and series. We are obviously, as you guys know, last week we did the protein powerhouse. Is it a myth or a bust? So, of course, we launched that video on Friday. If you haven't yet seen it, please come and click the link right above here right now to come and get a good viewing of that. But for now, as you all know, I'm Kiara Dukas, and today we will be speaking about detox and how important detox is for you and where detox fits in your everyday lifestyle program and how does this actually help us function, reverse aging, and slow down any disease in the body. Etan.
Amazing, amazing. Kiara, thank you very much for having me here on this awesome show. Love having these conversations with you. Very much benefited my life in the past, certainly so, by practicing these things and applying the knowledge. That's more important than anything else, is applying the knowledge. It's awesome to have the knowledge, but to apply it is something incredible, and that's what we call the journey, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
very much looking forward to what it is I have to share. But I know you, yeah, and your wisdom. So very keen to hear what you have to share too.
Well, there is an abundance of wisdom all over, right? And there's an abundance of wisdom within both of us. You have wisdom of the stars and astrology, and you know a lot more about that than I do. But I've been blessed to be around you and learn about those and the importance of those in our lives and how they affect us over the short, medium, and long term. So yeah, we all got our beautiful journeys and lives that we have to share with people. So yeah, my passion is definitely heavy nutrition and obviously learning about how nutrition functions in the body because as the as the product developer for SynerChi Organics, you know, it's important to know the ingredients that you're working with and what functionality they play, what role they play, and what it is that your end user is obviously looking. So do they know what they're looking for?
Well, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I guess that's the beauty about it, is just forever continuing and growing. So you don't know what you don't know, but certainly it's important to be discerning and pick up a label and question what that ingredient is or what that preservative is. Yeah, that's being conscious in this realm, and not just accepting the norm or accepting what is. It's best just to know what it is that goes inside of our body. That's what we are firm believers in. Our body, what enters it, needs to be of the purest nature and full of nutrients, of course. That's what we're about.
Absolutely. So absolutely fantastically said. And obviously through learning or going to the stores, you know, you have things like cell phones, etc., that you can take and you can use to do research if you don't know what those ingredients are, because in a lot of our food and beauty products, there are things in our products, not our products, SynerChi's products, but in products on the shelf where there are ingredients that you can't read, you can't spell, their ease, you know, there's a whole bunch of that stuff that you should be looking at um, every single time you go shopping or pick up something that you're not aware of or not used to. And obviously, that's one of the first and key places to remove specific items that cause toxicity in the body, therefore reducing the amount that we have to detox. But detox is important even for the most healthy people on this planet. Why is that, Ethan?
Definitely. Well, we're constantly getting into actions. We're constantly in a world that is sharing all kinds of things. Fumes in the air from vehicles and power plants and things like that that are constantly there. The wind carries them, and we end up grabbing that. Not only that, but 3G, 4G, and 5G towers. That's all around us and ever present. So how do we provision for that protection? So there's all these kinds of elements, and I like the way that you started it out, Kiara, by saying that information is your best friend. Information is going to be the one to detox you, because with the information you have the power, and with the power you have the will to change. And that's important, just to recognize this. So from my views, there's so many different topics of detox that we could go to. When we hear the word, it's generally like, okay, my body needs to flush out certain toxins in the system. Yes, that's definitely what we're about, but there's a whole bunch of other detoxification things to pay attention to. So yeah, the information is the important thing. And I'd like to start out with that as well, since we're on the topic. um, Detox, the kind of information that you're filtering into your mind and into your heart. Like, there's toxic information out there. There's toxic practices, teaching practices, and this is where that word discernment comes in. Like, what are you willing to accept into your mind that's going to be healthy for your mind? Your mental health is of the utmost importance. So what kinds of music do you listen to, as an example, that's allowing it inside your body, into your consciousness, and allowing you to vibrate at that level? So extremities like that, we all know that we're sound and light vibrating beings, and what it is we resonate with or listening to, our bodies on that similar or same frequency. And plants feel it, we feel it, animals feel it. So it is the laws of the universe, natural vibrations. So what's your views on that, Kiara? And putting the right kind of information in your brain and body.
Absolutely. You used one word, discernment, and discernment is definitely the right practice to sit with every day before you make any decision. It's so important to actually look at the variations of what it is that we have filtering through our brains, like Etan says, through our eyes. Through our eyes is extraordinarily difficult because we have, especially if you live in a city, there's so much blue light. I mean, there's blue light reflecting on us right now through the computer, the cell phone, the lights, the all of it. And whereas the sunlight has a very red spectrum of light, and that is extraordinarily healthy for your eyes, very particularly. And it's called sun gazing, and sun gazing has a very particular effect on our pineal glands. And if these are the two eyes we see with, the third eye is what we rarely see with. And this is something that needs decalcification. It's a form of detox, and the sunlight really helps with that. And if we do this, this should be done very cautiously. If you're a beginner, do it in the last 10 minutes and the first 10 minutes of every day, and you can work up to the first and the last hour to hour and a half of every day once you become very, very used to that. No, it doesn't burn the eyes. No, it doesn't cause cataracts or burn or blur into the retina. It's actually extraordinarily healthy for the eyes, and it acts as a filter of light into the system. And through that process, of course, we will be experiencing a lot more higher vibration, as you said. And why is that? Because our pineal gland gives us our experience of this realm. And essentially, when we go to sleep, our brains release melatonin, which helps us to relax and induce that deep REM sleep, which of course then takes us to a subconscious realm, whereas this is seemingly so the conscious realm. And of course, using that in this specific conversation, we obviously find that when you clean your pineal gland and you clean your body, your pineal gland is one very specific organ in the body. But if you can clean the organs in the body, including the skin, you'll find that it's the same as servicing your vehicle. You're servicing your body. You're really just repairing, you're cleaning out the gunk out of the piping systems of the body, out of the organs, the tissue, the muscle matter. And therefore, your body can, if the tap has got rust in it that's clogging it, if you obviously get rid of the rust, the water flows through well, right? So the same thing happens in the body. The blood, the bile, etc., in the body can flow and work a whole lot better in the body, lowering inflammation and therefore lowering disease. So can you tell us a little bit more about your experience with sun gazing and how that changed your life, if it did?
Well, amazing. And yeah, please ask the questions in the comments below if I don't end up covering the topic. But one of the things is yeah, um, this misconception that just because you have bowel movements that you're hungry. It's just food moving through your system. So analogous to that is sun gazing, just from a different perspective. And you touched on it earlier, because you're looking at the last 5 or 10 minutes of the sunrise or sunset on the horizon. Your eyes are getting used to that stimulation, and because our pineal glands are calcified, in other words, hardened, and they're inactive, the pineal gland's no longer working like a muscle, okay, pumping the adrenaline and all the rest of the chemicals. It's the ruler of all the other chemicals that get stimulated in the body. So it's very important to have that as a working muscle. So what happens is, when we first start sun gazing, there is going to be this tingle of adjustment in your eyes, in your light. And you can go and do your own research, but when you sun gaze and you start to cry, that's a healing process that's going on, and your eyeball is being detoxified of plastics and heavy metals. You can literally see small gunks of plastic coming out of your eye, and you say, hey, where does that plastic come from? That's from the foods that we eat. Our body has nowhere to put it. We think that just because we pass once, maybe twice a day, that we're getting rid of all the toxins. No, 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 no. You know, the burger from 10 years ago is still sitting in the system. And this is what we call plaque buildup in the body. So, back to the pineal gland and sun gazing. When you're looking at the sunrise or sunset, it's actually activating and working your pineal gland like a muscle, and it's helping that hormonal balance happen. When we're looking at these screens, it's nothing but blue lights. That's why your eyes burn, and it's like this vortex of information. It's actually killing your eyeballs. So we need to have more harmonic technology that helps nourish our eyeballs. Can you imagine looking at a screen knowing that it's giving you vitamin C, D, and E? I want to challenge anybody in the tech realm to create something like that. But yeah, when it comes to sun gazing, again, it's just such an incredible practice. And the more you get used to it, the more your pineal gland gets stimulated. You'll find that dreams come alive, and you feel more calm, more relaxed, more centered. And these can come with deeper practices, Kiara, like fasting, when the body is void of all other congestion. You're able to hear a lot clearer. So when you're looking at the sun, you're receiving certain messages there. And yeah, it's like being in nature. You get this filtration system going out, and you connect with the trees and what have you. So that's just one topic. I love it. Appreciate that.
Good, fantastic. Talk to us a little bit about the plaque that you mentioned in the body.
Well, I mean, that's a very interesting topic. Yeah, like I said, the moment that we start passing, we believe that we're getting rid of yesterday's lunch or whatever the case is. But for the most part, it's just all the physical matter that's you're getting rid of all those micro minerals and nutrients are being passed throughout the system. So plaque buildup happens, and we can basically sum it up as our mucus congesting the piping system. If you've seen a couple of our other videos, we've talked about the piping system. When we fast, when we breathe, our veins and our arteries either expand or contract. And the faster we breathe, the more our veins contract. And you'll start to feel that when you breathe heavily, all this mucus is coming up from your lungs. You want to get rid of that. That's the kind of plaque that sits there. Another kind of plaque that exists, and plaque is basically mucus. It's the body's way of handling things that are unfamiliar or cannot be converted by the body. So it just sits in the system, and we have this excess toxin. So that mucus surrounds a heavy metal molecule, and it surrounds the starch, and it surrounds this. And the more that we build up in our system, the more we call it arthritis. In our wrist, because now we're arthritic and we're inflexible here, and we believe it to be a gradual deterioration of our health, or it might be genetic, or whatever the case is. But you'll find if you do a juicing fast, or if you're treating your gut health in a different way with cleansing tools, that arthritis is definitely going to release itself. So the question is, do you want to be doing more of that and more consistently and investing in your health and wellness? So contact us privately, please, to find out how it is you can benefit, how you could go through your own personal journey of detox. If this is a topic that interests you, we have things like fasting, we have tea protocols, we have juicing protocols, smoothie protocols, we have a variety of different meal plans to help you transition from A to Z. What are your goals? How are you wanting to achieve them? Please let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share this video with people you believe that are going to be interested in detoxifying their body, not only physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and so much more.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. So it's not only the plaque on teeth that make your teeth go yellow, it's plaque buildup in the body and throughout those piping systems. So the plaque in the body is obviously like rust in pipes, like we said. Yeah. So we have to clean it out. So Etan, you brought up something a little bit earlier on that was really important. We get toxic chemical. We get a heckload of toxic chemicals in our body over every day, just being, absolutely just being. So we get toxicity through breathing, through eyesight, through hearing, through mental thoughts. We get toxicity through feelings. We get especially if there's feelings of anger and frustration in the body releases very specific toxins that cause the body to harden and become rigid, and it's basically an overload of a toxicity in that moment, and that's an emotional toxicity. And those are also so important to realize that toxicity isn't just what we're eating or what's in the air, because actually if you really look at it, there's over 80,000 different toxins that are called xenobiotics. And these are basically toxic throughout the spectrum. There are toxic chemicals throughout the spectrum of air. And as Etan said, it comes from our chemicals, car fumes, buses, electricity wires, all kinds of things, radiation. I mean, when you walk through the airport, through those metal detectors, that's a form of radiation. You're being radiated in that moment. I mean, which is, I didn't consent to that, and I'm sure nobody in the community either consented to that either. So why are we not questioning these things in our daily lives? Why I think this could be a topic later on, a bit of a controversial topic, a little bit later on down in the series. But ESG, and environmental social governance, if you are doing it properly, is fantastic. Okay, but ESG on the large scale of things across the world is a bunch of rubbish. It is completely a scam, and it is just not suitable for where we're at. So these, why I'm saying this is because no matter how hard at the moment we're trying to control, or the regulators are trying to control your factories from pollution and all of that, the pollution is still there. Whether the pollution goes into the water or into the environment through air toxicity, the pollution or noise toxicity, it is still there. And therefore, we're having to constantly help our bodies, our machines, our vehicles detox, so that we can push ourselves through the outcomes of over toxicity in the body. Now, detox pathways are extremely important in the body. Now, a detox pathway, as an example, is the liver and the kidney. Now, the kidney processes things that basically helps to filter liquids and materials like that then are passed through the bladder, whereas the stronger excess sludge that the kidney produces or filters is something that should be taken out in a form of bile, which of course then comes through, going to the bathroom, through your stools. So, I mean, and in some instances, if you go and do some research on Dr. Sebi, he speaks about the importance of fasting, and that will be one of our videos down the line too. But this video is very specific on detox. And why I'm saying this is that you have a biotransformation in the body. What the liver can't clean out, it sends to the kidney to clean out. And if the kidney isn't cleaning out and filtering, it's sitting there in the kidney, and that's causing massive toxicity in the body. And that then causes the entire body system to start to malfunction. Think of it like adding the wrong petrol to your vehicle. Okay, instead of adding diesel, you put petrol in, and that of course then slows the vehicle down and probably just stops working. So I'm not saying that you stop working, you die, or you peg right there on the spot. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's so important to help the body cleanse and purge every day, every week, every month, every year, for the rest of your life. You have to detox in some way or another, whether that's a glass of water, lemon water, bile salts, fasting, meditation, emotional transformation, a yoga experience, swimming in the ocean. These are all forms of natural detoxification that we should be living. So in the environments that we work in now, where we're highly stressed, highly anxious, we're having to meet high demands for paying bills, and just a lot of people in the world really just scrape through, and they don't want to, this isn't living. So that creates emotional toxicity in the body, and then that later on creates an imbalance in your dopamine and serotonin levels, and that's where people start to get depression and so on and so forth. These cause other issues for you down the line. So what is the point? What am I trying to get at here? We need to filter every day. As Etan said earlier on, we have to discern what is so important to us that we need to make the decision every single day. It's so important what we take in our minds, in our eyes, ears, and hearts. Okay, so through detoxification, we have to start slowly. Now, there's something that, Etan and I, we go on fasts. Generally, we like to do 3 days at very minimum a month. It's important. Now, you ask what kind of fasts? These are sometimes there'll be water fasts, sometimes there'll be juice fasts, sometimes there'll be smoothie fasts. And you say, well, that isn't fasting. And we're saying, well, it is a form of fasting that you're training your body to not require solid foods that take major digestion, aren't actually healthy for you, and that can cause other toxicity buildup in the body from an internal blood perspective. And when we start this detox process, we actually should be getting the liver and the kidney to relax. Whoa.
Nice one.
Why is the music playing?
You're gonna have to figure that one out.
Who's playing music? Is that you?
That ain't me.
Where on earth did that just come from?
Oh, well, that's okay.
That gave me such a fright.
So good.
What? Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Maybe there's a YouTube something happening here in the background.
Yeah, you never know. With all the tabs that are open.
Yep.
Or just maybe
Oh my gosh.
put
It
yours.
was.
Okay.
There you go. I got it. Cheeky thing.
Well, Kiara, you were talking about a detox and certain forms of it, and one thing I want to touch on is the vagus nerve and the subtlety in which that cleanses the body when it is we sleep. Besides the heart and lungs, it's one of the only active parts of our body that operates when it is we sleep. And when we wake up in the AM, we get this like deep smelling urine that's obviously been cleansed throughout the middle of the night and what have you. And that's a form of detoxification throughout the body and the nervous system. So sleep is incredibly important. I know some people practice minimal amounts of sleep, but it certainly is there to detox the vagus nerve and a lot more of the things that are going on inside the body. And it's just very evident that when you wake up in the AM, you've got this detoxification urine that's coming on. So I'd like to elaborate that the vagus nerve carries the most subtle part of our body. In other words, our bones are the most dense. That's obvious. Our muscles are in between. And then our nervous system is the lightest form. But the vagus nerve assists in cleansing things throughout the body. And it's connected to very strong meridian points on the body as well. It's concentrated in certain places, and that's for specific reasons. But yeah, you mentioned it as well. When you do a fast, it doesn't matter which form it's in. You're giving the organs in the body a break from their usual patterns, and we of course regenerating cells day by day, hour by hour. And when we give the body a break, it's giving those organs a time just to rebuild. So it's like trying to build in the rain, right? So you're always getting stuff pouring down on you, as opposed to when it's sunny, you can get a lot more done and you can be a lot more productive with the building site that happens. So you definitely want to be as efficient as possible when you're fasting. But some people, they get nervous when their blood pressure drops. So I'd recommend starting on a smoothie fast, because that smoothie fast is definitely going to half fill your stomach. It's going to give you nutrient density. Your body's going to work less to obviously process that. And as Kieran mentioned, it's a form of mental discipline to say, okay, I'm still getting nutrients in, but you're breaking the habit of eating a big meal 3, 4, 5 times a day. And that's another topic we want to cover about detoxification, is getting rid of nasty habits, nasty negative habits. That's a detoxification process in your life. So anybody here listening to this video that has weight gain issues or fitness issues and all the rest, you definitely have to get rid of those old mental habits to say, oh, okay, I'm lazy. Oh, okay, no, I can do it tomorrow. Oh, okay, I could do this. You got to break that cycle. And once you learn to break that mental cycle, the physical body obviously follows. And yeah, you start to get into a lot healthier habits, and you'll find that those healthy habits, just because of the decision to exercise or eat healthier, will now trickle on into other aspects of your life as healthy, positive habits. So I like that part of it. Yeah, it's nice.
Absolutely awesome and wonderful, and very special information about the vagus nerve and how the body detoxes while you're sleeping too. It's extraordinarily powerful, and that's, I think, I'm guilty of that myself. I try to maybe do 6 hours of sleep every night, and sometimes I don't feel it is enough, but I do try to be a little bit hardcore in the way that I live. And it doesn't always work out for you, because sometimes you can wake up tired, which means that your body hasn't cleansed enough and you're waking up with a little bit of that toxicity. You feel a little bit sluggish getting out to your day. Your brain feels a little bit all over the show. So it's, you know, we're not all these perfect robots that literally can go, 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 go all the time in every way, in every aspect of life. Like, there are moments where you have to pause, stop, and rest and unwind. Um, I think one of the things that I was mentioning earlier on, as the loud music came through, so um, basically the start of detox is where we actually need to release the bile first, because the bile is what's causing that irritability and that inflammation in the liver and the kidney. And you would generally feel like a strong pain in your rib cage under the right hand side of the body when you're going through a bit of a detox. And this is where you need to use like a bile salt to just help um, that organ open up and really just release that bile. And what you'll see is that once you started to release that bile, the toxicity isn't going to be as bad. However, if you've never detoxed or you don't detox regularly, then you need to be very cautious. You should definitely start with the bile salts first and eating things like cruciferous vegetables. So lots of leafy greens, um, broccolis and things like that, that actually have enzymes and natural probiotics. You need to have a probiotic during this process, because the probiotic is your soother in the gut that really helps to get the natural cytochrome enzymes activated, so that you can activate the probiotics and the living organisms in your body, which are called endogenous antioxidants, which then endogenous being inside, like endogenous cannabinoids that we produce inside. CBD is something that we need from outside that gives us CBD inside. Endogenous is internally produced. So the same thing like on the protein video, where we do have endogenous essential we do have endogenous amino acids in the body, and then there's also exogenous amino acids outside the body that the body doesn't produce. So the same thing happens here with antioxidants. We need to realize that there are certain antioxidants that that body does produce, but by giving us the ability to take outside sources of antioxidants like goji berries or acai powder or baobab powder or moringa, these kinds of things, these kinds of superfoods, and that's why they're called superfoods. They are extraordinarily high in antioxidant value. And we should be getting 22,000 international units of ORAC value. If you go and look on Google, go and do Goggle, it'll tell you what ORAC is. But basically, ORAC is the amount of antioxidants that we require every day in the body to reduce the oxidation phase of the body, therefore reduce the aging process of the body. And this is something that's called autophagy. And I think if you can please describe the importance of antioxidants for people. But I'd like to just say one last thing. Like, if you're eating 3 meals a day, the average, if you don't have an organic farm and you aren't taking any additional supplements and those kinds of things, the amount of antioxidants and auric value that you're getting in that food isn't very high. At the most, you'll be getting 5,000 international units throughout your 3-4 meals per day. Whereas if you're adding things like superfoods, etc., those are extremely high in antioxidants. And I'd like you to tell us the importance of those antioxidants, Etan. What do those antioxidants do for us?
Well, definitely, the name is exactly what it is. When you cut open an apple and you see that it turns brown, that's oxidizing, and that's basically interacting with the outer realm, and it's dying off. It's releasing its fumes and nitrogen and molecules, and it's being dispersed because we live in a realm that's ever changing. So our body is forever generating new cells. It's killing off old ones and it's regenerating new ones. And we basically want to keep the body as efficient as possible. And, when it comes to antioxidants, it's this whole mainstream thing about where to get it from and what have you. Be careful of isolated antioxidants. Synthetics are a topic in and of itself to go into. But when you do get it from natural sources, the best being straight off the bush, the berry bush, whatever it is. But that's antioxidant process is basically revitalizing your body. It's helping you tighten up your skin, bring more vitality to the system, and there is a lot of energy that's involved in it. We we are, Kiara, as you know, hot on the topic of diversity. Add as much diversity into your body as possible, and forget the mainstream fruits and vegetables and what have you. Go and find the unusual things and just add that diversity into your eating habits. And yeah, you'll find that berries have a very high antioxidation effect, and those are things like you mentioned, the goji berries, the acai berries. Sea buckthorn powder is very high in vitamin C, and that's related to the antioxidative effect that goes on inside the body.
Mm-hmm.
Blueberries and so many more, like raspberries, are incredible. If you have raspberry leaf tea, it helps with that mental fatigue. So, when you're lacking oxygen in the body, um, you're down and out and you're feeling slumpish. Think about when it is you go and exercise and you breathe a little bit more, you're feeling more energetic. There's more energy about you. So you actually want to invite that more in. Go to ozone treatments. Ozone treatment is the the a treatment that's separate. It's the outer thing, whereas we're doing with the berries, it's the inner treatment. You got an ozone therapy, you're inviting more oxygen into your system. So yeah, Kira, I mean, what's your views on antioxidative practices, and the berries that come with that? Like, where else can you get these sources?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so
Amazing.
so basically, thank you and welcome back. And so basically, your question was around antioxidants and the importance of antioxidants. So I agree 100% with what you're saying as well. I do believe that antioxidants are so powerful for the body that they do exactly what they say. They reverse oxidation and therefore aging. If you think about oxidation is like getting all these wrinkles and all these things on the face and like on the body that really, and the skin is an organ. So if you're giving antioxidants to that feed your skin, like carotenoids, your skin stays healthy. Vitamin D, your skin stays healthy. And this is why it's so important to actually do sit in the sun, and yeah, cover up marks on the body like moles and these kinds of things, because yes, those are in some instances cancerous and so on, that can cause other things. But I think one of the most important things to recognize is that through the detox process, as an example, it's a daily journey. Myself, I use a combination of zeolite, diatomaceous earth, activated charcoal, and I take it at night just like that with a bit of cold water. And I generally would have something that helps me to lower my inflammation in the body, like an OptiMSM or a CBD oil, or a combination of all of it. Actually, I really like to overdose my body on anti-inflammatory supplements that or foods that can really reduce the inflammation in the body. The more inflammation, the more cranky the body is.
That's
Yeah, so I do believe, or as an example, then in the morning, I do the same thing, but then I add my probiotics to it, which, as we already spoke about, is so important through that process. It helps to activate. So what happens from that point? I have that. I have my tonic. I have my capsules in the morning, and within 30 minutes of having that, my stomach is working, and I need to go and release its bowel movement. And this is a perfect example because some people don't actually get to release their bowel movements. Some people sit with it in constipation for 7 days, sometimes 10 days. And this is a blockage in the system, guys. This is terrible for the body. And your body cannot tolerate that kind of level of toxicity. And here's why. Okay. Um, your stools are extremely toxic. Okay. They have so much toxicity, as Etan said earlier, that draw out the body, and that's part of where the waste goes. That's why it's called waste. Now, that waste, if I may just be as brutally honest here as possible, that waste ends up in our water systems, and our water systems are supposedly cleaned out and chemically treated with thousands of things. Now, by no means I don't disagree that that's what they do, because every time I have a shower, I smell chlorine like absolute crazy, and it burns my skin. It's terrible. It's not fun for me to actually shower like that, because it makes my skin extraordinarily dry as well. But why I'm saying this to you is that they do try to chemically treat the water so much, but it still doesn't actually help the water. These things in the water that poison and cause toxicity in the water are called biosolids. Now, what this is basically sludge that has been converted, your stools that have been and your urine that have been converted into sludge, which contain 60,000 of the toxic substances out of the 80,000 toxic substances that actually exist. Now, these are nutrient-rich organic byproducts. These are good for fertilizers. These are good for plants to use to grow. But as much as we use photosynthesis through vitamin D and the sunshine, as we're saying, to help us, we are not plants. Okay, as much plants as we can eat, we are not plants. So if you're consuming the tap water, this is part of your issue. Okay, doesn't matter how many times you boil that water, how many times you try to put chemicals in that water still contains those inactive organisms that when you consume the water, the gut stimulation and the bile, and the heat activates these enzymes, and different enzymes are activated through these processes in the body, and this causes additional toxicity. Now, this is why it's so important for us to cleanse the body. Now, Etan, you speak very specifically about 2 teas. One for the liver, which is a very special tea, and one for inflammation for the Aries star signs, very specially so. What are those 2, and why do you use them, and what are the benefits of them? But before you answer that, to our community right here, right now, you're watching this video, you need to hit the thumbs up, please. This content is just precious. Thank you for that. And if you have any questions you want to know, please ask them right down below. Please answer the questions.
Yeah, very much grateful. Very much grateful for that. Yeah, I'm a definite firm believer in dandelion tea. So that's the herb, that's the leaf of the plant. Then you get the stem of the plant, and you get the root of the plant. Sorry, you get the seed of the plant. So dandelion seed, and then you get dandelion root. and each one of them serve a slightly different function, but overall they liver cleansing, they're bringing minerals back to the system, they're doing a lymphatic cleanse, of which the liver is partly responsible for. The liver is exchanging bile and getting rid of bile, so it gets to the point where it assists in releasing that kind of toxicity. The lymphatic system is the one that's assisting and pushing it through the body and is responsible for storing out and drawing out toxins. So you actually want the lymphatic system more specifically to be cleansed. And we'll get onto that in a second about what kinds of things you could use. Dandelion tea is certainly one of them. Mixing that with lime, even just putting some freshly sliced lime inside there, not lemon, lime, and that's gonna help clean and scrub the colon, and it will help a little bit of that passing along more. The second one, Kiara, I believe you mentioning stinging nettle. And stinging nettle tea also, it comes in the root form, it comes in the seed form, and it comes in the leaf form or the overall plant form. So this is a natural blood cleanser. It's one of the most potent multi-mineral herbs you can find. It grows everywhere and anywhere. Like you can go find it out in your garden, and it's actually a resemblance of the kind of constriction that's in the area. So it's any weed that we consider a weed, we just don't understand what its function is in that moment. So dandelion root actually shoots deep down and it pulls out calcium and extra minerals from deep within, and it brings it up to the surface. And when that plant dies, it drops it on the surface. And now there's calcium and all those other minerals and things available, phosphates and manganese and all this kind of stuff that's now top surface. So we need to change our perception on the way weeds are seen, because people misperceive dandelion for being a weed or nettle being a weed. If we just go and say, wow, I got fresh nettle in the garden and I can actually utilize that as a form of getting in multi-minerals and iron rich, and that's the natural iron that we should be grabbing from. But more importantly, it's a blood cleanser. This is the topic of our show today, is how to detoxify the body. So that's definitely one part of it. I love those two. And Kiara, you also mentioned zeolites, which, if you go back a little bit earlier, it pays attention to that kidney function that you were talking about. The zeolite has a main role. When you drink it, you definitely are urinating a lot more. That's very clear and evident that it's working on the kidneys and flushing out that system. So for anybody that has kidney stones or any hard kidney aspect like that, you definitely want to be utilizing zeolite powder. Reishi is another one on top of that that helps cleanse the blood, cleanse the kidneys, does a lot more. If you look at its shape, you could see that it's bean-like, which is similar to what the kidneys look like. So that's also another resemblance and element that comes into your observation of nature and what it has to offer us. There's many videos and things on, like the way a carrot is good for the eye, and beetroot's good for the bones, and all this. It's celery and all the rest is good for that. And diatomaceous earth, Kiara, also, you can expand on it as well, but diatomaceous earth is definitely targeting those parasites inside the system, and it's getting rid of those parasitic eggs that are being laid. So that lays dormant in, we consider that plaque, or it's mucus. Remember earlier we mentioned mucus, and mucus being the body's natural defense mechanism to surround this unfamiliar or foreign object that it can't convert. So it has to take that and convert it. But diatomaceous earth does that so well. So paying attention to, yes, calcium and restoration of the nutrients, you could definitely cover that. But I know that it's a parasite remover, and it will get rid of so many toxic things outside the bloodstream, outside the organs, and all the rest. So continuous use and practice over a period of time is great. And you know, another one, Kiara, is really fantastic. I mean, we've had firsthand experience of how incredible black activated charcoal is for the body. Um, to share a little bit of a story, and it relates to the animal kingdom, the mammal kingdom. It relates to even nourishing your garden, because charcoal in the garden is incredible. Um, I found an owl in the middle of the day. It was so strange. It was flapping in this corner. I said, "What's that?" I went up close. I'm like, "Wow, I found an owl. Like this owl's come to me." I knew it had been poisoned. The facility it was at was recently stocked up with rat poisoning and what have you, so it was evident. And I moved on that. I opened up the beak, and 3, 4, 5 times a day, I was shooting in black activated charcoal water. And you know, a couple of days later, you start to see the digestive system come back in and the body come back alive, and there's more movement and everything. Now, there's a 99% kill rate on owls eating rat poison, well, eating rats that have eaten rat poison. And to see that magnificence unfold, first-hand experience, to know how powerful black activated charcoal can be, wow, society really does need to know about that. So go and get yours today. Go and suck it up. Go and really indulge in that and get rid of the heavy metals and the toxins inside the system. That's was an incredible story for me. But we've got a lot of other things, Kiara. I mean, like, yeah, how many other things can we list here for our viewers today, please?
Yeah, we won't list too many for them. I mean, there's burdock root, there's arrowroot, there's all kinds of different things that cleanse and purify the blood. But what we're looking for in detox is really something that cleanses the entire body overall, and that is, as you've just said, activated charcoal, zeolite, and diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is the supplement that we would use to cleanse out the parasite activity. The parasite activity are the little critters inside you that are basically saying, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. And those are what are making those cravings go absolutely crazy. You know, whether it's in the gut or in the blood, you know, those parasites really are sending signals to the body that they require that specific something that the body that they're feeding off of. So I want to touch very specifically on activated charcoal before we start closing up here soon. But activated charcoal is literally and probably the most important detox supplement you could use on the market, okay, in this entire world and probably in this entire universe. Why is that? As Etan just described it, not only is it so important in garden, in nature, but let's use the most basic, simple form. We've already spoken previously on other videos where we are a physical water body, okay? We're encapsulated by so much water. And if you go to the shop, your local health stores, what do they have? They have a charcoal stick in a charcoal filter, and that filter is to filter your water. So the same concept is in your body. You've got to keep replenishing that stick over time with minerals in the body. Now, that's why I would just use the activated charcoal on a daily basis, because it's simple to have, really easy to use. If you don't like the taste, get it. There's ways to get it encapsulated. I'm sure activated charcoal comes in capsulated forms. But what is activated? What actually is activated charcoal? Activated charcoal is an active carbon. Now, we need a carbon molecule, carbon, carbohydrate. Carbon gives us energy, okay? Therefore, it is the molecule that the body requires to help purge and cleanse that level of toxicity. Now, you can't just, with diatomaceous earth, kill the little critters and then they're still living there in your body. You've got to actually clean the body out. You've got to clean the blood and the muscles and the ligaments and the tissues. And that's where zeolite and activated charcoal actually are so functional. zeolite and diatomaceous earth are very high in silica, and silica is used for what, Etan?
Well, the elasticity in the body and the joints, and so much more. I mean, it's a Sagittarian tissue salt as well. So flexibility is definitely one part of it, but it relates to that tendon to bone connection and the strength that lies between those two. It's like that transition from the muscle into the tendons into the bone. What's your views on silica, Kieran?
100%. And what is its function? Is to help. One of its main functions is to help to reduce inflammation in the bones and the ligaments. So it's that, as Etan said, it's that elasticity within those environments. And through the processes of detox, you're allowing that inflammation to lower. You're allowing the high absorption rate of those minerals, and then you're allowing yourself to be able to use those minerals in a highly bioavailable way to help the body cleanse and absorb high quality nutrients that we then use on a daily basis to help our body fight oxidation, reverse aging or slow aging, and function optimally. So the importance of these three things are so phenomenal in our daily lives that those would, what Etan said, dandelion, nettle, reishi is very good, zeolite, diatomaceous earth, and activated charcoal. And I would literally put activated charcoal at the top of that list because of its function. It helps reduce aging in the body too. So it's not an antioxidant, but because it's a carbon molecule, carbon slows oxidation. Therefore, we will be able to reverse and slow down those aging processes more drastically with the addition of antioxidants, exogenous and endogenous antioxidants in the body. So I believe that these are very, very, very powerful nutrients that we should be uptaking every single day. Etan Ducasse, do you have any last words you would like to input here on the Detox show today?
Well, fantastic. I mean, I definitely do believe that we can do another one of these videos and share a lot more information. There's certainly a lot that I want to cover. So if it didn't get covered today, please message us personally once again, and we can have a topic, a conversation around this, perhaps a consultation personalized to you and your needs. So get in touch with us and get curious and join our community, because there's so much that we're sharing from many different aspects. You get to join our groups, of which we're sharing information, just being motivation to ourselves, but those around us as well. That's very important. And yeah, Kiara, just to touch on one or two last things, we said a smoothie fast and all the rest. When we're doing like a tea fast, that's it's highly beneficial in receiving those minerals in as a supportive measure. Because if you just go a plain water fast, definitely it's beautiful to enjoy that, but your body might not be used to that first time round. So you'll find that your piping system starts to constrict, and with certain people, they can feel dizzy or congested or lightheaded, or their blood rushes. And this is just because their piping system saying, hey, I'm congested somewhere. Um, so adding those kinds of elements into your fast is very healthy and very important. When it comes to other forms of detox, emotional detox, like how do you get rid of anger and frustration inside of you? Do you go to the gym? Do you exercise? Do you go hug a tree? Do you punch a boxing bag, or whatever the case is? Also detoxification of the quality of people that come into your life, as an example. These are all topics of conversation that we can delve deep into. And it's not just about detox of the body, it's about detox of the mind, heart, soul, spirit, and everything, like we covered in the beginning over here. So again, like, really appreciate the time. And for all of you out there that are watching, I'm so super grateful. I know Kiara is, and the rest of our team is grateful that you've spent the time, energy, and effort on this video to learn a little bit more about yourself and invest in yourself. So well done. Super grateful. Kiara, you're an incredible genius. I love and appreciate you. Thank you very much for your time as well. Hey?
And you too, Etan. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge on the show as well. It's been absolutely phenomenal again. And we literally are thoroughly enjoying sharing this knowledge and this information to our beautiful community. This information has been retained in our brains for so long already. This is why a very big reason as to why we started this community channel is because we feel as though the information is great inside our own heads, but what good is it to us in our own heads if you don't know it, and if you don't know what we're thinking in our business, in our life, and how we actually live our life? Because it's so important for you to know how to carry out these aspects of life as smoothly as possible. And by all means, none of us are, as I said, none of us are these perfect beings, but yet we can find perfection in daily life through the things that we choose and discern in our lives. And this is obviously a topic that can be spoken about endlessly, detox, really, as Etan said. So we will touch on another one of these at a little bit of a later stage. And instead of focusing too much on the stuff for the body, even though this is related to SynerChi, we also believe that it's important to bring in those emotional, mental aspects. And we would love to share with our community what those are and how to take care of those. And maybe we might have some cool stuff to share on one of those channels, on one of those videos at some point. But if you've loved this content, which we hope you have, and I'm sure you have, and we really appreciate you, please hit the thumbs up, because of course it gets our algorithm pumping like absolute crazy. And that's what we want. We want to share this knowledge and this information everywhere and anywhere, all the time, with people that deserve to know this information. You're one of them. So thank you for being here with us. If you have any questions, remember to be in touch with us down below in the comments. Otherwise, our contact details will be there too, in the page, in the information of the page. And thank you again, Etan, for being here. Really do appreciate it. Thank you to me. Thank you to all of you. And certainly feeling very blessed. And actually, I'm feeling so detox and calm after this call and this wonderful time.
Lovely.
So thank you all. Yeah, appreciate you very much. Thank you for being here.
Take care, everybody. Appreciate it.
Take care. We'll see you on the next one.